Hello VC, it's Dean, here to record a response to Weekly Rotations 100 subs. Well done, man. I mean, I'm just literally discovered your channel, as I think a lot of people tend to. When someone gets to a certain milestone, people that I've subscribed to all of a sudden do responses to other people, and that sometimes is how I think we find each other up on the YouTube VC. So I think the last time I looked, you requested more like 130. I made one more, but I think you picked a really interesting topic. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't really know a lot of the intricacies and the changes and people, and so I don't know, there's so much going on in the music industry. Who's been with what, and who moved on to who, and who's been, in terms of different bands and everything. And I think one thing that helped me find it was Spotify. I think what you tend to find is when you pick a band, it'll have other things, a biography, and it'll say who they've played with, who they've been with, and who other people you might like. And you find out a lot of different people have been in different bands that you wouldn't even considered, but that was eye opener for me. So I've got a few albums here, some maybe projects, some not, but what they're trying to be is a show of what I'm talking about, which is how things come around and intertwine in the music business with different records. So okay, so we'll start off with something. Anybody interested? We've got Queens of the Stone Age playing in the background, which again is involved with what I'm going to be talking about. But the one things I most probably had is not a side project, but Blur. Now this will tie on from what I'm talking about. So you've got Blur here, which is Dave Norburn, it's Graham Coxon, and a couple of other people in there. But this was one of my staple diets when I was growing up at college. Blur, Oasis at the time, when you had the indie scene sort of break out in the UK. So from that kind of thing, and whether you call it a side project or not, but if you had things like Graham Coxon's now doing his own work. Now as a side project, I suppose you can't call single people their own work, but Damon Albarn as his side project, I don't know whether he'd let it take off quite well, but Gorillaz, which was started off by Damon Albarn. Let me just have a look, see who the guy was. Jamie Hewlett. So Jamie Hewlett was the other guy, and the reason I mentioned Graham Coxon is that he introduced Jamie Hewlett to Damon Albarn when they were in Blur, and so you get a nice mix in. And what you've generally got is Damon Albarn is the only person basically in Gorillaz. He does have other people come in to do vocals and things like that, but he's the only real person. He created a artificial band and characters for all the different people in the band. I mean, I can imagine a lot of people have heard of Gorillaz, but if you haven't, you really should check it out. Jamie Hewlett is the guy with the animated skills and the cartoon skills. So I think obviously Damon Albarn just went to him and said, let's do this, and they were the co-founders of Gorillaz basically. It's, whether it's a side project, I'm sure it started off as that, but four albums in and headlining Glastonbury and everything. Side project no more, but Them all one also did the Good, the Bad, and the Queen, which I've got a CD of. I've not really listened to a lot of them, but so yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite interesting to see all the intricate ways that people moved and went on to different things. The side project album I've got into recently, and I've got the 2 albums and the live album now, but I just thought I'd pick this one out, which is Black Country Communion. And the good thing about this one is, if you look at the inner, it's got all the different people on there. So you've got Joe Bonamassa, who's usually like a bluesy kind of rock guy, soloist. So he does his own sort of album. So Joe Bonamassa, Glenn Hughes was the bass guitarist for Deep Purple at some point, and Jason Bonham, his dad was John Bonham, was the drummer for Led Zeppelin. He's recently done the drumming on their Celebration Day release. When that was done, and he's filled in a lot of time since his dad had sort of passed on to do shows and things like that with all of his other side projects. And Derek Sheeran, I'm going to butcher anyone's name by all means, don't hate me for it, but I do believe he's been in Dream Theater. I'll look that up, and I'm pretty sure that was him, unless I've got it mixed up with someone else. But Dream Theater is something else I've just started getting into. So, I mean, I would imagine that is a group of side projects all to come together, and that's very good. Outstanding albums. If you've not listened to them, really should pick them up. I suppose the other thing is another one which is very similar that I picked up again recently. The Raconteurs, which is Jack White and a few other people that have come together as a sort of like a side project. So I do sort of like end up looking up, it's because I'm trying to remember what all the different bits are. So, but yeah, so he's done the Raconteurs, he's done a few other things, but the Dead, was it the Dead Weather? Yeah, so you've got a couple of people in here from the Dead Weather, Blanche, and the Greenhorns, and I've not really heard of any of those, but they've come together obviously with Jack White and White Stripes and so on, etc. But this is a very good album. Steady As She Goes is most probably the outstanding track on here. And from researching this, I found out they did another album. I didn't know. That's another thing I will certainly be looking into. So that's a nice album. Most probably share this one next, because this is the one that I've been looking at recently. So we talk about side projects, is most probably a side project and a super group sort of coming together. Travelling Wilburys. You've got George Harrison, Roy Orbison, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, and Jeff. Is it Lynne or Jeff Lynne? I mean, I heard this a while ago, and I obviously know the most of them, and Jeff Lynne was all I don't really know, but I think he was Yellow. Make sure I don't really stupid. I'm not one of those stupid anyway, but yeah, Yellow. So the Electric Light Orchestra, which again is something else I'm trying to get into. I think I've got a couple of their albums I picked up cheap recently, but great work of people coming together, and sort of like a little side project for all of them. It's just amazing. You get all these people together and do some talented work. But this, again, is a fantastic album, collection of work. So It's a 3 LP set, but the volumes of the collections that come out, they're all fantastic. But I picked that up literally for one song, but the whole collection is amazeballs. The next one is a guy, well, a sort of a guy I like a lot. His music. He's touched a lot of groups and music through the last 20 years, most probably easily. Started off in Nirvana and then obviously moved on from there. And even though he wasn't the lead in Nirvana, he certainly made a name for himself. And this is what we'll show, which is Sound City, which is the story behind the Sound City Studios, and it's the last analog recording decks that was still in use. And the guy I'm talking about, which is David Grohl, decided to buy them. I think he has them in his home studios, or he has them somewhere, and he decided to get a load of people together that have recorded at Sound City and make this album basically. So the people that are on this, so if you think of David Grohl, obviously you can call any of them side projects, but even Nirvana as a start off, and then Cookie Vultures, he was in that as a side project. Foo Fighters, is that really a side project? Almost it started off as one, but obviously carried on to huge success. And he's drums for Jack Black's band. I can't remember. But yeah, he drums for them, and he drums for Things of the Stone Age, and he's done so much work with so many different people, little sign-offs, little cameos, things like that. But the guy is a real workhorse. So I mean, if you look, if anyone's got this and you see the list of people that's on the back, I mean, I think David Grohl is on every single track on here, but you've got Joshua Home, Queens of the Stone Age, frontman, and you've got the different people, but I suppose the standout one is, if you ever see the video of one of the main songs, which is Cut Me Some Slack, which is Paul McCartney, David Grohl, Chris Norris, Holovic, I can't pronounce it, and Pat Smear. And at the very first bit, and he says he just realises when he introduces them all, he says he realised I'm in the middle of a Nirvana reunion, and basically he is. So I mean, Pat Smear was only in Nirvana for a very short time, and then went on to be the Foo Fighters with Dave Grohl, left and then came back. Obviously the guy I can't pronounce was in Nirvana. It's most probably sacrilege. Novelic, I can't remember. But there you go, my terrible thing at trying to pronounce it. But yeah, I mean that's what I've got in terms of side projects and everything, and just I think it was quite interesting for me to see the whole intricacies of how it comes together, and different bands, and how intertwined some groups can be. I mean, like a lot of things, for a lot of reasons, something sounds very similar. It's because sometimes it is very similar. You got the key core of a group there that you used to like. So I'd just like to say well done on the 100 plus subs now. Most probably see a recent hike in your subscription list now. Your people are doing responses to your contest. So yeah, well done, man. Nice to meet you in a fashion. and I've now subbed to your channel, and hopefully be seeing a lot more of your videos. See you later, VC. Bye.